Dr. Evelyn Hart received the letter on a Tuesday. Her grandmother had passed away, leaving her the family estate, a Victorian mansion she'd never been allowed to visit as a child. Never go to the third floor, her mother had always warned. Never look in the mirror room. But her mother was gone now too, and Evelyn had always been too curious for her own good. The mansion loomed against the gray sky, exactly as it appeared in old photographs. The lawyer handed her a brass key attached to a faded velvet ribbon. "Your grandmother left specific instructions," he said, his hands trembling slightly. "The third floor is to remain locked. Under no circumstances should you—" "I understand," Evelyn lied. She waited until his car disappeared down the gravel driveway. The mansion was a museum of decay. Dust particles danced in shafts of afternoon light. Every room held secrets, old letters, vintage photographs, a child's abandoned toys. But Evelyn's eyes kept drifting upward, to the ceiling, to where the third floor waited. At midnight, she climbed the stairs. Each step creaked a warning. The brass key felt ice cold in her palm. The third floor hallway stretched impossibly long. At its end stood a single door, painted deep crimson. No dust, no cobwebs, as if someone had been maintaining it all these years. The key turned with a soft click. The room was octagonal. Every wall was a mirror. Not modern mirrors. These were antique, their surfaces slightly warped, silvered with age. And in each reflection, Evelyn saw herself. 8 versions, standing in perfect synchronization, except one. In the mirror directly opposite the door, her reflection moved a fraction of a second too late, as if it were copying her rather than reflecting her. Evelyn raised her hand slowly. 7 reflections matched her perfectly. The 8th hesitated, then raised its hand with a smile that wasn't hers. She stumbled backward, but the room seemed to shift. The door she'd entered through was gone. 8 doorways now, 1 in each mirror. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "We've been waiting for you, Evelyn. Choose a door. Choose wisely. You only get one chance to leave." She spun around. In each mirror, a different version of herself stood before a different door. But their expressions varied. Some smiled, some wept, some screamed silently behind the glass. Only one reflection looked terrified. The same terror Evelyn felt. That was the real one. That was her way out. She lunged for that mirror and slammed into solid glass. Pain exploded across her forehead. She fell back, tasting blood. In the mirror she'd struck, her reflection remained on the other side, watching, uninjured. It pressed its palm against the glass from within. Behind Evelyn, footsteps echoed. She turned. In the mirror behind her, a figure emerged from the shadows. A woman in a Victorian dress, hair gray and wild, eyes hollow. Her grandmother. But her grandmother had died 3 weeks ago. "Hello, darling," the reflection said, her voice muffled as if underwater. "You look just like I did. Same curiosity, same foolishness. What is this place?" Evelyn's voice cracked. "A trap, a puzzle, a curse." Her grandmother's reflection moved closer to the glass. "Every generation, one of us is chosen, lured here by inheritance, by secrets, and the mirrors claim another." Evelyn looked around frantically. The other reflections of herself were behaving strangely now, moving independently, living separate moments. One was screaming, another was laughing maniacally. A third sat in a corner, rocking back and forth. "These are all the women who came before," her grandmother said. "Trapped in reflections, living the same moment forever, in rooms that don't exist. How do I get out?" There's only ever been one way out. Her grandmother pointed to the center of the room. Evelyn hadn't noticed it before. A small hand mirror lying face down on the floor. "Pick it up," her grandmother whispered. "Look into it and choose." "Choose what?" "Which version of yourself you want to be." Evelyn's hand shook as she reached for the hand mirror. The moment her fingers touched it, all 8 mirrors began to glow. She lifted it, turned it over. The reflection staring back at her wasn't her face. It was her mother's. "Mom?" Evelyn whispered. Her mother's face in the hand mirror looked younger, desperate. Her lips moved, forming words Evelyn couldn't hear. Then she understood. Her mother had been here, had made a choice, had escaped by becoming someone else, by leaving a part of herself behind in the mirrors. "You have to choose, Evelyn," her grandmother's voice echoed. "Keep your reflection and stay here forever, trapped like us. Or give it up, step through, become something new. But you'll never be whole again. Part of you will always be lost in the glass." Evelyn looked at the 8 mirrors. In 7 of them, women screamed and begged. In the 8th, her true reflection simply watched, tears streaming down its face. Her phone buzzed again. "I'm sorry, sweetheart. I should have warned you. I should have told you what I lost to escape. But I wanted you to have a normal life. Now you have the same choice I did." "Mom." Evelyn stood, hand mirror clutched to her chest. She understood now. Her mother's distance, her grandmother's isolation, the strange emptiness she'd always sensed in the women of her family. They'd all sacrificed their reflections, their complete selves, to escape this room. She walked to the mirror where her true reflection stood. "I'm sorry," she whispered to herself. Her reflection nodded. It understood. Evelyn closed her eyes and stepped forward. She opened her eyes. She was standing in the 3rd floor hallway. The crimson door was closed behind her, locked. The brass key was on the floor. Sunlight streamed through a window. Morning. Evelyn ran down the stairs, through the mansion, and out into the garden. She was free. She was alive. But when she passed a mirror in the entrance hall, she stopped. Her reflection moved a fraction of a second too late, and its eyes held the sadness of something left behind. Evelyn turned away and kept walking. She never looked in a mirror again. 3 months later, Evelyn received a letter. The handwriting was her own, but she didn't remember writing it. "Dear Evelyn, I'm still here, in the mirror room, watching you live the life I gave up so you could be free. Sometimes I see the other women, Grandma, Mom, all the others. We talk. We wait. And we wonder, when you have a daughter, will you warn her? Or will you let her inherit the mansion too? The mirrors are always hungry. Love your reflection." Evelyn burned the letter, but late at night she could swear she heard footsteps on a 3rd floor that no longer existed. And in every reflective surface, windows, screens, still water, she caught glimpses of a room with 8 mirrors, and a woman who looked exactly like her, trapped forever in the glass.